expose the fuck out of Kings Island. So be ready. Be ready, bitches. Excuse me. Gonna have to edit that out. That's nasty. Okay. I think I'm ready now.
Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh? Nail done, hair done, everything did. Nails done, hair done, everything did. Oh, you fancy, huh? Oh, you fancy, huh?
Hey guys, it's your girl, Queen Carla. I'm back with another video. It's been a little minute, but I'm back because I really miss making videos and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing a story time today. I'm gonna be doing the story time of my worst job ever. Let's get right into the video and I hope you enjoy. So this story takes place summer of 2014. Sorry, I had to do a little memorizing there. And this was the second job that I had. I already did a story time of my first job, which was Subway, and that is linked down below if you want to check it out. But this was my second job, and it was at a amusement park in my city. So yeah, it was Kings Island. Because most of you probably know I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. Yeah, come hit me up, stalkers. Come get me. Ooh. Sorry, I'm in a slap happy mood. But anyways, I worked at Kings Island, and this place was like a cult. Like, I know that's like kind of fucked up to say, but like working there, it was like, I don't know, it was just like horrible. Like it was like one of the worst experiences of my life. So this was like a cult. Like I said, it was just like chaos all the time. Let me just say, like, Kings Island in general is like a great amusement park. Like, the rides are actually really safe. You know, it's fun. Not really affordable, but it's fun, and definitely something that if you get the opportunity to go, you should go. But don't ever work there. That's my advice to you. I don't know if there's gonna be anyone in my area watching this video, but I sure hope that you watch it before you get a job there. So I was 16. Actually, you know what? I might have just turned 17 at the time. I was like 16, 17, right in that area. They had open interviews, and I was desperate for a job because my first job, Subway, I lost, and I needed another job. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to these open interviews, and you know, I got hired. When I went to these open interviews, they were asking me, you know, what I wanted to do. If I wanted to be in admissions, which is, you know, checking people's passes and tickets and stuff, or if I wanted to be in merchandising, which was, you know, selling merchandise, Kings Island things that they sell, their t-shirts, bears, you know, figurines, candy, whatever it is. They asked me if I wanted to be in that. They asked me if I wanted to be in rides, which obviously is operating the rides, checking people's safety belts, that kind of thing, or food service. And food service is obviously exactly how it sounds. You work in one of the restaurants that they have there. So I told them I honestly didn't care. Like, to be real, I had a preference for admissions. That's kind of what I wanted to do, but I didn't tell them that because I didn't want to jeopardize possibly getting a job because I was desperate. I didn't care. I should have, though. I should have. No, but for real, like, I don't work there anymore. I don't care. It's long gone. You know, we went through training and everything. I don't remember exactly how much training it was. I think it was like a few days, and we were there for a few hours at a time. And we went through training, and we were taught, you know, different things. Like, if somebody in the park, like, this was like, there were a lot of fucked up things about it, but let me just get into like the basics. Let's not even talk about my specific place. Basically, like, you got a break every 4 hours. Really, technically, it should be 5 hours for minors. Technically, in the state of Ohio, that's the law. Miners have to have a break every 5 hours if they're working more than 5 hours. But there, they did it every 4 hours, which thank God they did, because, oh God, that place was a nightmare. So we got a break every 4 hours, and it was a 30-minute break. Like, we couldn't purchase food, like, from the place that we were working, or drinks even from the place that we were working. If we did, we would have to pay full price, which prices there are ridiculous. Like, if I wanted to get a freaking chicken wrap, I would be paying $16 for it. When I worked there, like, no thank you, I'm not paying that. So we basically, like, weren't allowed to eat where we were working, basically. And drinks, we could only use, like, really small, like, cups that they use. Like, we'll give them out to people for free. They're water. You know, obviously, like, they have to do that because, you know, it's open, like, in the warmer months, so people can get dehydrated and stuff like that. So they have to give them something. So they'll give out little cups of water to people if they ask for it. Well, that's, like, all that we were allowed to drink from where we were working, which was just ridiculous in my opinion, because we get thirsty too. They had us do that, like I said. So since we couldn't get food from where we were working, there was, like, a cafe for employees, and it's, like, back behind stuff. Like, you have to walk through the park to get to it. This was, like, just one of the things that, like, I understood it, but it was, like, kind of, like, it was annoying because you have to walk there, and that's part of your break. So from where I was at in the park, it would take me about 5 or 6 minutes to get to this place. So you add that up, that's almost half of my break right there, is walking just to this place so I can get something to eat and something to drink. That was annoying. But also on the way, you could get stopped by people. Like, there's somebody there, they're a tourist, whatever, they're there, they're just enjoying the day. Say, like, they ask you where something is. You have to take the time out of your break to tell them where it is. If they keep holding a conversation, you have to talk to them. And we had, like, this thing where it was, like, to me, it was, like, nuts. But, like, we could not point. Like, we could not point with our finger, like, where something was. Like, we had to use our whole hand when we were giving someone direction somewhere. Which, I guess, like, they said that pointing was rude or whatever. And I'm like, alright, whatever. I can deal with it. But, like, the consequences for if someone saw, like, if management saw you not pointing that way, like, if you weren't using your whole hand, then they would, like, write you up for it. Like, and it's, like, you know, it takes some time to, like, get used to that motion, because most people, you know, will just point like this. They don't go, oh, it's over this way. Like, they don't, I don't know. It takes some getting used to. So that was, like, one thing that was just kind of stupid, whatever. But I was assigned to work at this place called the Chicken Shack. I'm not sure if it's still going to be there this season, but it has been for some years. And basically, you know, it's chicken tenders. It's kind of like Cane's, if anyone knows what Cane's is. It's like chicken tenders, fries, bread, and then we also have, like, chicken wraps, like I was saying, where you can get, you know, chicken and you can get lettuce, you know, tomato, cheese, whatever you want on it, basically. And so we had that. That was basically our menu. Like, it was a very small, simple menu out there. And it was, like, okay at first, but they scheduled me to close, and I only worked Saturday and Sundays because I didn't have a way any other day, and that was not a place where I could walk, or, like, it wouldn't be feasible for me to take a bus there. Like, I was not going to do that. Sorry, like, your girl's not going to do that. So I only worked Saturday and Sunday, but I worked, like, 12-hour shifts, like, each time that I worked. So, like, I was still getting a good amount of hours for working there. Like, I would still get decent paychecks, but they were very long shifts, and even getting a couple breaks, it definitely wore you down, especially when it's hot. Say, like, I'm scheduled, say I'm gonna work 2 to close. Well, on the weekends, the park closes at 10, so we would, like, the food places shut down at 9. So we have like an extra hour to clean stuff up and everything. Like, let me be honest with you. On an average night, I was there till at least midnight trying to close this place down. Like, it was ridiculous the amount of stuff that we had to do to close this place down. And like, I know it takes a little while to close restaurants down, but 3 to 4 hours closing down a restaurant, that's ridiculous. So that was like another issue I had working there, was I was there late. Then also, from time to time, they would move you to another place. Like, you know, how I worked at the chicken shack. They could tell me to go, you know, work the stands, which, you know, is like stands, like small stands where you can get, you know, drinks, you can get Dippin' Dots, pretzels, small stuff like that. They would want me to do that, or if it was like an ice cream stand, they would want me to do that. They sent me over to the Fest House, which is an indoor place for people to eat. There's air conditioning, there's music, and there's 2 or 3 places there to eat, La Rosa's, and then they have like a Panda Express in there. Might be something else in there, I can't remember. And I was working there one time. And where I was working, like, I had to stand there, like, stand in one spot and make drinks for hours and hours and hours. People coming, they want something to drink, they're getting it in a cup, or they're refilling their cups that they bought, where it's free refills, or it's $1 refills after that day, or like throughout the season. It's like stupid stuff like that. Well, people were coming, they were getting drinks. I had to fill them for them, say they wanted Sprite, Powerade, Coke, water, whatever. I had to get it for them. Which, like, obviously, like, that's very easy, but I was standing in one spot for hours. My feet were killing me, my back was killing me. I'm just, like, I'm not equipped to, like, stand in one place like that. Like, it does not work well. So that's what I had to do, and that was miserable. And they, like, every time that they sent us somewhere new, they expected us to know the menu. Like, they expected us to know, like, oh, well, if they get a pizza, then they get 2 breadsticks, and or if they get this meal, then they get a free drink. Or I mean, I'm just coming up with examples. These aren't real things, I don't think, but those are just examples. Like, they expected us to know all that stuff, even though that's not the place where we normally work. Well, that was one issue. And then the other issue was, it was very inconsistent. Like, I probably only worked at the Chicken Shack maybe half of the time that I worked at Kings Island. The other half, I was doing other things. I was working stands, or I was at another place. I was at an ice cream store one time. I gotta talk about this ice cream store thing. So this place is like crazy. Like, there's like 2 places in the park with that they have like blue ice cream, which is like one of the signature things at Kings Island. It's blueberry flavored ice cream. It's pretty fucking good. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I like it. So these places are crazy a lot of the time. Plus, it's hot. People want ice cream. So they put me in this place. They didn't really give me any real training on how to do it, how to work the register, any of that stuff. Like, up until that point, I had only worked a register like one other time. So I really wasn't like familiar with it, because like when they trained me at Chicken Shack, I only trained on the line, like making people's food. I didn't train on the register. I didn't train on the cooking or any of that stuff. So they really didn't give me any training. They're like, oh, you got to make these ice cream cones, and you've got to make sure I mean, it's making ice cream cones, but at the same time, like, it's like an art, you know? Like, if you fuck it up, then it's going to be fucked up. Or say you're giving them too much ice cream or too little ice cream. I mean, it makes a difference. Like, but they did not give me any training. They just threw me out to the wolves. Like, oh, here's your register. You're going to be here. You're going to be taking people's orders. You're going to be making their ice cream. You're going to give them their pretzels and their churros or whatever. Those things, churros, those things. You're going to be giving them their shit. Like, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be making their drinks, all that stuff. I'm like, okay, what the fuck ever. I don't care. So, hold on. Gotta sip my tea. Oh. They wanted me to do all that stuff. But you're like, okay, whatever. And it was just like a long day. And then after you got done, with, you know, your shift, you had to count your drawer, and that was a whole other thing that took a half hour to an hour because you had to count it yourself. And then they had to count it and they had to check it, and oh my god, it was a fucking nightmare. So that was like a whole other hour adding on to your shift. Well, then there was this other time that I had work stands, and I had work stands I think once or twice, maybe 3 times in total. How many times? I think I worked the stands 3 times. Well, stands, I was at a different stand each time. And this particular time, this was actually my last day ever working there, which, hallelujah freaking Luya. God, I hated that place. So this was on a Saturday, and I was working the stands, like I said. And one time before I worked the stands, it was kind of like you work the stands, you do the closing work for the stands, you leave. Like, well, you work the stand, you count your drawer, then you do the closing work, which is going around and putting bags over all the stands. You know, it was basic stuff. Like, it was basic closing work. It wasn't anything, like, crazy. So you did that, and then you left. Well, this time, I worked a stand, and this lady, basically, like, they have to come and, like, relieve you for your break. And it had been 4 hours, you know, I was standing in one place. I was very hot, I was very dehydrated. Like I said, you couldn't, like, step away from your register. You couldn't drink you couldn't drink anything, like, in front of people. Like, if you brought something, like, good, but, like, say, like, you hadn't been on a break yet, so you don't have anything to drink with you because you can't bring outside drinks into the park. So you didn't have anything with you that day. Like, you had just been working the whole time. Well, I didn't have anything to drink. I was dehydrated. It was hot. I was making, you know, people's ice creams and stuff like that. This was like one of the smaller stands. And so I was doing that. And this lady was late to come get me for my break because it's supposed to be every 4 hours. And she didn't show up till closer to 5. Like, I had to pee. You know, like, they have to come relieve you. Like, and you don't have, like, the fucked up thing is you don't have any other way to communicate with them other than if you press, like, a panic button. And obviously, like, you can't do that. So you're just stuck there for hours until your manager comes to relieve you. Well, finally she comes to relieve me and everything, and, you know, I finish out the day, whatever. And, you know, so we're closing stuff down for stands, and it was a little bit more closing work this time around than what it was the first time I did it. The other time I didn't close stands, but the first time that I closed stands was different than this time that I was closing the stands. Like, she was having us do a little bit extra work. Like, okay, whatever. So I'm thinking, I count my drawer, do some closing work, I'm gonna leave. So I told my mom, hey, you know, I'm gonna be off probably in about an hour. So she comes up to get me. It's like a 25 minute drive to come pick me up. So she comes to get me, and by this time it's already almost midnight. And so she comes to get me, and she's waiting. And so we finish the closing work for stands. And then she says, actually, since y'all are done with that, we're actually going to go over to Skyline and help them clean up and help them close. And I had never done this before. Like, in my opinion, wherever you work, like, that's what you should be responsible for closing. You shouldn't have to go over to another place and help them close. Like, yeah, like, help people out, cool, but, like, I'm sorry, but, like, y'all need some more management, y'all need some more workers, y'all need something, because that's ridiculous. Like, we already did our work, we already did our closing work, it's already almost midnight. It's just fucking ridiculous. So, anyway, that was fucked up. We had to go there, help them clean up. Like, I was doing dishes, and I did a couple other things there, and by this time, I was just, like, so, like, fed up. Like, I was just so done. So, I go up to her, like, it's, like, after 1 in the morning at this point. And I go up to her, and I'm like, I have to leave. She's like, why? You're a closer. I was like, yeah, but, number 1, I've never been here this late. Number 2, my mom's been out there waiting for over an hour for me to be off because I thought I was going to be done after we counted my drawer and I did that little closing work for you. Like, I didn't know being a closer involved going to all these other places. And she's like, okay, whatever, go clock out and leave, whatever. Went out to my mom's car and I was fucking crying. Like, I was like in tears, like flipping out. Like, I was so upset. Like, I had just had like a very exhausting day. It was very hot. I was dehydrated. My feet were killing me. You know, it was just like a whole bunch of shit. Like, after I would get off work, like, my mom would prepare this foot massager that we had for me, and I would have to soak my feet for an hour for them to stop hurting enough so I could go to sleep. Like, it was that fucking bad. Like, but I was so desperate for money. I was like, I'll do it. I'll deal with the pain. I'll power through whatever. And oh my God. So my mom is, you know, like trying to calm me down or whatever. I'm like, I'm so done with it here. Like, I hate it here. Da da da. She's like, well, maybe try to go in tomorrow and see how that goes, and maybe it'll go a little better for you. Nope. I woke up that morning and I was like, I'm not going back there. Like, fuck that. Like, I'm not going back. So I called them and I got like a voicemail thing. I didn't talk to anybody, and I just left a voice message on there like, hi, this is Carla. I work in food service. I'm stationed at the Chicken Shack. I'm not going to be in today or ever again, so please don't schedule me anymore, because, like, I'm done. And, oh my gosh, like, the release and, like, the relief that I felt after quitting that job, oh my God, it was amazing. But I had to do it, like, and I'm, like, not, like, usually, like, I'm the type of person, like, I like to tough things out and deal with it, but like, I just could not deal with it anymore. I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going back there. I'll find another job. It'll be okay. Like, I'm gonna get another paycheck. It'll be fine. Probably about a week or two later, I had an interview at my current job that I'm at, and I've been there ever since for almost 4 years. So, yeah, that's how that went. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tea, and I hope that you learned that if you are desperate for a job, it doesn't matter how desperate you are, please do not work at Kings Island unless you want to be miserable. Like, I don't know, maybe it would be better if you did another category of work, but don't work in food service. I can tell you that much. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say in this video. So I will see you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any other questions about Kings Island, just let me know, and I will definitely try to answer your question to the best of my ability. There's a lot of things that I did not share in this video that also happened, but if you ask me, I will gladly answer. Thanks, bye!